Now, the premiums and reimbursement rates that are lower have resulted in a lot of patients switching insurers because a lot of insurers left different markets.
The weakness in United Health. That stock closing down nearly 11%. This after the Wall Street Journal reported the DOJ is investigating whether the company committed criminal Medicare fraud. UNH has lost almost $100 billion in market cap since Monday.
United Healthcare under serious pressure again today. This morning on a Wall Street Journal report that the company is facing a criminal probe over possible Medicare fraud.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another Gigastonks video. Did you watch United Healthcare crash and then subsequently miss the calls that printed right after? It's so obvious in hindsight, isn't it? Today, we're going to be diving into some WallStreetBets trades that are going to give everybody serious FOMO. Of course, this is not financial advice. However, what I did know very interesting is this was the only time doing my research that all of WallStreetBets was universally on the winning side of the trade. There was no loss porn. It was pretty much just a pool of money for the WallStreetBets traders that timed the puts and calls on United Healthcare so perfectly. You can see that over the long term here, United Healthcare is a really profitable play for bogleheads and individual stock investors. Even in bear markets, it still tends to go up pretty decently, but there's been notable turmoil here just in the last 6 months. So we're going to go ahead and zoom in here to 3 months. You can see most of the crash. For the most part, WallStreetBets was pretty shrewd in buying puts at the right time, both in April and then in earlier May, and then timed the bounce back just beautifully here for the calls. This is a new development here in just the last day, that extra, I believe there's another probe for United Healthcare basically telling nursing homes not to send their patients to the hospital or something ridiculous like that. But all of the calls are right here between the 15th and the 20th, and all of the puts here between the 12th and the 15th. So WallStreetBets read this like a book and perfectly executed. I'm going to show you the results from smallest to largest here. So our first Redditor is VIP access only. Very interesting history with this guy, from applying to government jobs, including the IRS, then disappearing for 2 years before he comes back at the end of 2024 to show off his over $500,000 profit in a day in the race to 10 million, which is basically a more degenerate version of WallStreetBets, if that's possible, later boasting $1 million in profit and $3 million in a week. Absolutely wild. Right after his $3 million week, he had a moment of, I'm not sure, loneliness, horniness, as he starts looking for dates in New York City and posting on Reddit about it. Anyway, he should have just taken Matthew McConaughey's iconic advice to Belfort and then just kept on trading. But hey, what do I know? Anyways, fast forward to May 20th, and our friend VIP Access Only purchases 100 contracts out of the money, expiring in nearly 2 years. He pulls out and sells pretty quickly, pocketing $3K in profit. Considering his millions, that's like just most of us picking up a nickel off of the ground or something like that.
A nickel?
What the fuck you just say?
You heard me? It's a nickel.
Our second massive winner today is RockyMountainArms, who joined Reddit for the guns and shooting subreddits, which is pretty based if you ask me, but stayed for some small-scale degeneracy in WallStreetBets, which is WallStreetBets' little brother. Rocky finally graduated to the big leagues this past week when he bought $260 in United Healthcare puts, not calls. Again, he bought this on the way down with a strike price of $280, turning around and selling them the next day for over 2,000% in profit. You can see that today's return is so much greater than the total return, which indicates that his $260 bet had actually dropped all the way down to $80, but he faithfully held and then reaped the rewards. Our third winner today is Culture Forsaken 3762. Now, you might be recognizing this guy's name, and that's because I just did a video on him a couple of weeks ago. Next, we have Culture Forsaken 3762. He cashed a nice profit of around $35,000. After the $35,000 profit on Berkshire Hathaway, Culture Forsaken was not yet done in his WallStreetBets journey. He made a quick $20K turnaround on nuclear tech company Oklo, and then rolled much of his portfolio into United Healthcare calls at its 5-year low. Just a day in, Culture Forsaken updated us that he's up $11,000 to $41K total liquid in the position, if my math is correct. And then after seeing the infamous Marjorie Taylor Greene, who's basically becoming the Nancy Pelosi of the right, drop $65K in United Healthcare, he decided to double down on his position. Time will tell how much cash he ends up making or losing. A quick halfway meme break. This Wall Street Bets meme I found hilarious, uploaded by Destroy Them All 6, which makes light of the Vatican Pope situation, but instead of black or white smoke coming out of the Vatican to indicate whether a Pope was chosen or not, it's green smoke coming out to indicate, of course, that the White House has given us a new day of tendies. At least for the shareholders, your puts probably still got burned. Back to the topic of the video, we're going to get to some serious money now. Jaunty Quant is a longtime retard that has posted exclusively in Wall Street Bets, from nearly $40,000 in Delta Airlines calls to $32K in QQQ puts to $72,000 in profit on Sable Offshore, and then breaking the $200K mark with NVIDIA. Jaunty Quant was cruising along with consistent gains. That was until he posted an absolute monster DD on Eli Lilly and Company, ticker LLY, and was so wrong, losing most, if not all, of his $200,000 on the trade. Humbled by the loss and by the many Wendy's night shifts that came as a result, Jaunty returned 3 months later with his remaining $40,000 and threw it into United Healthcare calls with a $300 strike price 1 month to expiration. And despite not being a multi-bagger, he put in $40K to begin with. He made a pretty decent profit on that. However, Wall Street Bets was quick to say what we were all thinking: hopefully we just get to see the LLY loss screenshot sooner or later and see if he ever makes it back to $200,000 or not. Now, this is the biggest on-paper gain of the bunch, but I think the last gain is actually a better story, so I bumped that one to the end. Meet HMS Beagle, an Australian degen who sunk six-figure losses not just into shares, but also into watches. The Patek Philippe Gold watch he purchased in 2022 has a retail price of over $250,000. Take a look at that beauty right there, $249,940 US. I mean, that's an insane amount of money. Just invest that in the S&P 500, and the dividends alone are going to provide you with free Wendy's Happy Meals for life. Again, that's not financial advice either. It's worth noting that HMS Beagle is easily a multimillionaire. I saw a $3.3 million account balance in one of his posts. So this strategically timed UNH put that printed for him last week isn't exactly life-changing money, but as another Reddit user cleverly pointed out, it certainly could be wife-changing. And now for the Gigastonks trade pick of the week. Meet DrDanklebergg. Our doctor friend is a college student and has a long history of gaming subreddits, including Battlefront, Chivalry 2, Warframe, Borderlands 3, and of course Helldivers. A few months ago, he even rescued a little lab puppy. But the real rescue job here was turning a $5K loss into a $30K gain, not of his own money, but of his dad's. Dr. Danklebergg told us that he made a couple $100 every now and then trading options, and his dad, who's, quote, more retarded than him, trusted him with $10,000. Initially, he lost half of it, partially due to poor timing on United Healthcare puts, but he finally made it big on May 15th with a strike price of $280 in puts and sold for a respectable $32,000 in profit. I'll highlight it right there. Finally came out in the green for dad. I think the best advice of all comes from Crash7, who sternly admonished Dr. Danklebergg to give his dad half the money, keep the rest, and never accept such a loan again. And that wraps up today's Gigastonks video. I am feeling absolute FOMO right now. Are you feeling it too? Did you trade United Healthcare at all this month? I want to hear your stories. Comment below. And of course, this goes without saying, hit like, hit subscribe. Don't mistake me for a financial advisor. I think the main takeaway for me personally here is that sometimes buying the dip can really pay off. So until next time, hope you make some serious tendies out there, and I'll see you soon.